Here's your heads up to this 5-minute quickie. It's simply one of the most pinpointing questions, the most simplistic question that will be like a silver bullet to virtually every problem, to lead you out of a problem, to lead you out of a way of thinking, to lead you out of a way of a stuck state or any limiting beliefs. What? Absolutely. And you've got to have a listen to this because it's just a 5-minute quickie.
Warning.
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 Warning. You are entering into the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. Too late. Personal Development Unplugged.
Hey, welcome, my friend, back to, another 5-minute quickie, and it will be only a 5-minute quickie, promise. Because I wanted to talk about or to share with you one question that will always find you the right answer. Because we've been talking about cause and effect, don't live on the effect side of life and give excuses. You think they're reasons, but they're excuses why you didn't do things. Or just that we're not getting what we want. Or maybe there's things we think can't be done. Or maybe we listen to the blooming media or see the social media and get these feelings that I just can't do that. I wish I could do that. Or if that's true, then what about me? So what's this question, Cluffy? Well, I'll tell you in a minute. Don't rush. You see, when in our NLP trainings, and I'm going to say probably 80% of all NLP practitioner trainings, and if not, they should be 100% really, there's a particular style of questioning called meta-questioning, the meta-question. And it's all about going from the general world that we live in, because we do generalize so many things, and then getting down to specific details of that issue. And things like, I'm angry all the time. Have you heard that? That being said, have you ever thought that? I'm always angry. Or maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just a little bit too honest there, Paul. But the thing is, that's a generalization, isn't it? But we let that slide. Well, when you're working with a therapist or things like that, they wouldn't let that slide if they've been taught this way. Because they'd be saying things like, always angry? What, every moment of the day? And of course, then you go, not every moment of the day. Well, I'm always angry at work. So it's every moment of the day you're at work. You're always angry. You're running around in this angry state. Well, no, not every moment of that working day. It's my boss. He always makes me angry. All right. So whenever you see your boss, you get angry. No, not every time. It's only when he has that tone of voice. Now, can you see we've got just a statement which says I'm always angry to it's a tone of voice. And we can work with that. That tone of voice is triggering something, and it's triggering anger. And that anger may be triggered from something else. Now, and this form of questioning, as it were, has to be done with great rapport, because if not, it seems like an interrogation with lights in the eyes and people blowing smoke in your face and things like that. But there's like a set of questions, or to every statement, there's a form of question to get deeper, different types of statements, different types of deletions or distortions in someone's vocabulary and thoughts. But there's one question we teach, that if you can't think of a question to match what a person is saying, then you ask this one. Now, sometimes you can say, well, why don't you just ask it every time? Because it does really work every time. But asking, makes you think too, remember. Make you follow that Columbo, as it were, Detective Columbo. Oh, just one more question. But when you hear something and you go, oh no, just ask yourself, how do you know? How do you know that to be true? It's a little bit like asking, where's the data? So I can't do this. Well, how do you know you can't do this? So if I'm doing that, I just cannot do it. I just cannot. How do I know I can't do it? Well, because I just know I haven't got all the information. So if you had the information, Cluffy, well, if I had not just all the information, if I had that one piece, because I've got most of it, and it was literally one little piece of information that could be stopping me doing everything and making me feel that I just can't do anything. So this is a one silver bullet question that whenever you need it, or whenever you're talking to somebody and they say, we can't do this, or I can't do that, or it's impossible, just ask the question, how do you know? How do you know and repeat what they said? Or if you're thinking something, even write that statement down, what you're thinking. I just cannot do this. It's so confusing and I just don't know what to do. Well, how do you know that you don't know what to do? Well, if I knew this, and this, Paul, then I'd be able to so now you know what you need to know. What a great question. How do you know? 4 blooming words, which will solve most and many problems, and certainly find you a way to find the answer. How do you know? It's an awesome question. If the book of questions, which I'm going to write one day, and I've got loads of questions, that would be in the top 3, I think. How do I know? Oh, there we go. Now I can go and prove it. Is that of any interest to you? Would that help? Write that down. How do I know? How do I know? Cluffy said, how do you know? Hear my voice saying that to you as you see it on that little card you've printed on top of your computer, that little sticky note that you've put on the side of your door, or you've written in your journal. So every time, I'm feeling so bad. How do I know I'm feeling bad? Well, I know I'm feeling bad because I'm feeling this in my body. I'm thinking this. How do you know that's what it is? Well, it's all because of so-and-so. Now you can ask a better question. Well, how can I change? Gets to break the ice. It gets to loosen the model of your world that at that moment in time is like frozen in time. Your focus is pinpointed and you need to get that total peripheral vision with all your senses on the problem. And just to say, how do you know, will open up that peripheral vision, that peripheral knowledge, if you can have that type of, if that means anything. It means something to me. Just have a think. How do you know? I'd love to hear from you in a way that tells me, I had this issue, Paul, and I asked myself, how do I know? And this is the answer I got. It solved everything. It did this for me. It allowed me to do this. I'd love to hear those success. So I say that again. I'd love to hear those success stories so we can share them, because it's great to hear how people change, how people motivate themselves, how people get them out of this issue and find a way out and get successful. That's what we do here. So I've shared mine. You share me yours. Feedback at personaldevelopmentunplugged.com. Send me the email. Save as houses, as I say, and you'll get a personal reply too. Anyway, I'm off. Have a listen to the outros because there's a lot of important stuff there, okay? You'll hear from me soon. Bye-bye. So the very first thing I want to share with you is an old episode. It's an episode way back in July 2019, hashtag 138. And it's all about a personal story of mine, which I share with you, all about where our beliefs come from and how I worked with my negative beliefs. Anyway, have a listen to the intro from way back then. And if you're interested, go and search it, hashtag 138, a personal story. Hey, here's your heads up to this longer podcast. It's me sharing some work I did on myself just a day or so ago about negative beliefs and a negative feeling I had, and what happened when these negative beliefs came up, what I did to let them go, and we discover and dive deeply into the limiting negative beliefs and how they affect our lives, how they're created, and how we can, just let them go, and how then our world, our life will be so much different when we do. Hey, I really hoped you enjoyed that little, drift back, a couple of years ago now, isn't it? And, I hope that sparks your interest to look back into, the past catalogue of episodes. We've got, hundreds of FMQs and full length, the longer podcasts with all manner of things. Remember those hypnosis tracks as well. Anyway, that's that. Now I want to remind you of some really important things that will really help this podcast grow. So before you leave this unplugged mind of mine, this hypnotic mind, if you enjoyed this podcast or any of the other podcasts, please do subscribe. It helps this podcast grow and affect so many more people. And we love to leave everyone in a better place than we found them, and this will help the podcast. It will help you, and it will help, well, everyone that you know. So if you could just subscribe and share this podcast to everyone you blooming well know. That's the only cost. Pay it forward to everyone, and when you do that, boom, we are all going to make a difference to this little old planet Earth of ours and the people in it. But let's make a good world, a nice world. Okay, you can now prepare to leave this unplugged mind.
Warning, you are now leaving the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. It's time to fly on your own. Be brave, my friend.
Personal Development Unplugged.